Shamanettes, and welcome to the Beauty Shaman. So today we are back by popular demand with the wonderful Andrea Flommer, who wrote the book Shopping for the Real You, not the fake you, the real you. So we're not trying to reach some unreachable standard. We're trying to be the best that we can be, which I love that messaging. So thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me again, Suzanne. It's always a pleasure to speak with your audience.
So we are going to talk about spring 2023 fashion, which I got to tell you guys, I so happy about spring fashions because it entails color. I'm a huge color fan. I'm like a color junkie. So this makes me so happy. So let's start off. Let's talk about color.
Great. Well, I think for a couple of years now, we've been looking at a lot of neutrals. It's a sort of sophisticated, flowy, easy, loose pants, oversized suits for women, menswear type outfits for women in neutrals to look sort of laid back, conservative. But it's also a very classic look to wear neutrals, even solid neutrals. But now, boom, there's spring. And we are seeing an explosion of color. Every year, Pantone, this is the company that sort of sets the tone for what the colors are, what color palette is going to be for the coming year. It's for paint companies, for interior designers, and for fashion. And so we're seeing some soft, pretty pastels, but what we're seeing is some deep, saturated, brilliant, bright, look at me, isn't life glorious color. And I think that's a big, wonderful reflection of optimism that we all need, and especially now.
Yes, absolutely. No, I totally agree. And you sent me some pictures, which I'm adding into this, the audience can see this as we go along, but there's fuchsia, which I love fuchsia. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. And then this deep blue and deep greens and really strong colors, which I love. So because this is such a big thing, I think the question always is with color is how do you wear it? Many people are scared of color. Many women, we feel like I don't want to, have the color walk in the room before I do, sort of thing. So maybe we can stop and talk for a minute about how some ideas or thought process behind wearing those bright colors.
Okay. Well, you're absolutely right about this. A lot of times the reason that people don't wear color is because they want to disappear.
Yes.
What my color mentor says is that when you wear color, you show up.
Yes.
It's something you and I have talked about very
Yes,
recently.
yes, absolutely.
And showing up is hard for some people. But, don't think of it so much as showing up as bringing yourself joy. And everybody can wear, when my clients say, oh, I can't wear green or I can't wear red or blue, that's just nonsense. You can wear almost every color of the rainbow if you wear the right level of saturation, right?
Yes,
The
I'm
right
nodding because
hue,
I
the right tone.
I can't tell you I'm sorry to interrupt, but I cannot tell you the amount of women that sit in my makeup chair and say, oh, I can't wear this and I can't wear that and I can't. And I'm like, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. And so I'm always preaching that. So that's cool to hear you say that.
Right. Well, so there's one basic rule of thumb, and that is when you put on a color, if you disappear behind it and the color comes forward, and that's the first thing that people see, and they don't see you looking beautiful in it. They say, oh, that's a pretty color, instead of that's a pretty color on you.
Right.
So if the color is the thing that pops, then you know that it's probably a little too saturated or maybe too pale, either extreme. If the color makes your eyes shine and show up and makes you look, this is the most important one, if it makes you look healthy and happy, then it's the right shade of that color for you.
Right.
So, and you're seeing many shades of bright green or regular green, many shades of pink and fuchsia, many shades of blue. So you're going to find one that works. But I just feel it's a really important time to show up with color, wear your color.
And I'd also like to throw it in. I agree with you. I also think as a makeup artist, I can put somebody in a color that wouldn't necessarily be the right color, but you do their makeup in a certain way and it works. So I always keep in mind, yeah, you want to do a color that's flattering to your skin, but you can also play with that a little bit in that arena to add, you know, more pop or something with your makeup. We're not here to talk about makeup, but I wanted to bring that into it because I think, like, for example, the shirt you're wearing right now is spectacular, but it's set off also by the color of your lipstick and the blush, and
Yes,
it really all works together. And I think that's kind of what we're going for, is things to work, right?
absolutely. You know, it's
Right.
one of the things that I tell younger women who are bridesmaids or something like that. They say, "Oh God, I have to wear this horrible dress that does not work for me." And I said, "Just adjust your makeup."
Yeah, that's right. I think I mean, I'm an optimist. Anything is possible.
Yes,
So,
yes.
okay, so we're going to talk more about color kind of as we go along, because we're going to talk about stripes and skirts and denim and things like that and how it all works together. But let's head into the next arena, which is metallic. So we're seeing
Yay.
metallic shoes, gold, silver, plus belts and bags. When I saw these pictures, I went back to the 80s. I was like, oh my God, I'm back
Right.
in the 80s. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about metallic shoes or metallic things.
Okay. Well, I think the whole point with metallics is wear it strategically.
Yes.
And that means, you know, although it depends where you are. I saw one fabulous picture. I can't remember if I mailed it to you, but it was of this woman in Italy, and she was wearing gold metallic pants, leather pants, or sort of, and it was absolutely gorgeous. She wore it with a white blouse, and it just looked fabulous. Most of us aren't going to do that,
Yeah.
but a pair of metallic shoes will work. Now, the pointier the toe and the higher the heel, the more dramatic the look is. If that's not you, don't go there. But you can certainly wear, you know, if you have very long legs or very long feet, you can wear a Mary Jane metallic shoe. It'll
Mm.
shorten the look of your foot. And if you're like me and you're short, or if you have thick ankles, do not wear a metallic Mary Jane shoe. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, the simple flats are beautiful.
Right.
Summer is coming in the northern hemisphere, and so any kind of sandal that's gold is going to work not only this year, but for many years going into the future. So that's another way to do it. And that's a way we would do with metallics with shoes. You're also going to see it in very, you know, in some really dramatic, spectacular boots, like silver pointy toe boots. You can do that if the rest of the outfit is neutral. You know, I don't think combining something as eye-popping as a metallic with a lot of color is going to work for a lot of women,
Right.
because there's kind of this rule of three. You want three elements of your outfit to be significant or to stand out. You
Oh,
don't want
interesting.
them to you know, you don't want your eye to have to go boom boom, where should I look? But if you have an, you know, a really standout metallic shoe, and then the rest of your outfit can be kind of fun and hip or sophisticated and classic, then that sort of brings it fashion forward and makes it kind of fun. So I think that's what I would say about how to wear metallic shoes.
I love that. And you know, when I think of metallic, um, you know, I think okay, so I want to talk for a second about body proportions when it comes to tying in color and metallic. You kind of touched on it, but I want to go into that a bit more. For example, if somebody has a thicker waist, right? Many of us have a thicker waist. So, and then you put a metallic belt and a bright shirt, and suddenly you've just doubled the size of everything, right? So
Mhm.
how can you tie it in? You know, and I know there's tons of different body types, but let's try to tie it in a little bit more with how do we make this wearable?
Right. I forgot to mention the metallic belts, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But I'll say one thing about color. Let's say you're wearing one of these really pretty bright colors, like a bright green, like I'm wearing, or one of those really brilliant blues, or even a fuchsia. If you have a column of color,
Right.
and then wear one of those bright shoes, metallic shoes. That will look great. I wouldn't wear two colors and metallic shoes. Now, as far as the belts are concerned, belts are always a concern based on your body type. If you have a short waist, you don't want to wear a thick belt. If you really love the idea of a metallic belt, but you have a thick waist, you might consider getting something that's a little bit looser and that will, like one of those Chanel chain type belts,
Right. Right.
and wear it maybe slightly off center with the edge of it hanging down a little bit. That will slim out the look of your waistline. And it's kind of cute. It's not, we're seeing more just really simple, straight leather, metallic color level thin belts. If you have a very wide middle, that may not work for you as
Right.
well. But for most women, there's one other way that it can, and we're going to talk about it in one of the other trends that's coming up. If you're wearing a very expressive blouse in color or in textile, then you can wear a thin metallic gold or silver belt, even if you have a bigger waist, because you're bringing attention to the upper part of the body.
Right.
And then you let the pants be, and we're not seeing a lot of really straight, skinny pants right now. I think we're going to maybe start seeing more leggings in the fall with oversized tops. But for right now, the pants are a little bit looser. But if you're wearing a romantic, bigger blouse on top, sure, you can add a thin gold or silver belt, even if you have a larger waist, because that will give you a look of coming in and coming out. And a lot of women want to have an hourglass type look to their body. So that's
Right.
one way to do it.
Right. That's great advice. I think that's great because I do think we want our proportions to look good, and we want everything to work together in a way that's flattering, not to be like, okay, I've just made my bust, say your bust is big, and then you wear one of these tops that we're going to talk about coming up here, the puffy sleeve and the puffy, those are for a very specific body type. So let's move on, because I think body type is very important with everything. But I mean, I think specifically in the spring, because we're talking about so much color and gold and things like that. Okay, so let's talk about stripes. I mean, stripes and body shape is a very important. Stripes are fabulous to help kind of reshape your body. So let's talk about stripes.
Right. Well, I love stripes
I do
because
too.
they remind me they remind me of the summer, they remind me of the beach. I think a lot of people have those associations. And what we're seeing in stripes now this year that's kind of interesting and I really like is contrasting stripes. So you'll possibly see a vertical stripe blouse with a pocket that has horizontal stripes, or other shaped stripes on the arms. And that makes a little bit more interest. It's all the same color, but it brings a little interest to the outfit. Um, so as far as stripes are concerned, the thinner and the finer the stripe, the more sort of conservative and classical it's going to look. And that also depends on the textile. If it's a thicker weave cotton textile, then that's going to look a little bit more conservative. If it's a finer linen or something, that's going to look a little bit more relaxed and natural. But I think for for most people who are, they say if you're large on the upper part of your body or around your waist, don't wear horizontal stripes. Well, it depends what you wear over it. If it's just on its own and the stripes are large, yes, that's not going to work for you. But if they're thin horizontal stripes, they showed a lot of sweaters this past fall, and where there was a white swath across the top, and then just above the bust line, the stripes started, and then the arm stripes started at the same level. And that's a different way of wearing stripes that would not make you look that broad, because it would make the upper part of your body stand out a little bit more. If you have very large shoulders, though, that doesn't work because it makes your shoulders look bigger. Ooh, white stripe, big shoulders. If the wider the stripe, the more it could be more playful, or it could be more bold. I saw one blouse that had wider stripes, but they almost looked like they were tie-dye There's sort of, loose or ikat dye. So that is not as bold because it was also on linen. Again, the textile is an important part of it, but thinner stripes, vertical stripes, say conservatism, wider stripes, and horizontal stripes, say more playful, uh, preppy sometimes, and laid back. And I think, well, I was going to save this for the end, but I think it has to do with accentuating the positive and eliminating the negative. If you put it on and suddenly you're saying, oh, you're wearing big wide stripes today, then you're thinking, oh, they're looking, again, as with color, they're looking at the big wide stripes instead of at me.
Right.
So that's one cue and one clue about wearing stripes. But I think everybody can wear some kind of stripe. I think they're fun. And I think they're springy and summery and, you know,
Oh, I
playful.
completely agree. And I think you just have to work it a little bit, right? Like how would
Yeah,
this look best on my particular body type? Now,
yeah,
also, I mean, you brought up earlier, and I kind of want to highlight this for the next area, which is denim, is you can use things to break it up and what you put on top of it. So denim is it's a wonderful trend. I'm a huge denim fan. Um, and you can use like putting a denim jacket or maybe a denim shirt with a stripy skirt, or there's a way
yeah.
to use the denim theme, I guess, with the stripes to break it up and make it all work together. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I've seen some. They're making denim things in very interesting styles. We're seeing it in everything from blazers to the typical, Levi's short jackets and the longer trucker style, and then we're seeing it in lots of colors of denim. So people who say, "Oh, it's too masculine or it's too, natural for me," if you wear it in one of these bright yellows or greens or pinks or blues, that's a way to wear denim and feel very fashion forward and still fun. Um, and what we're also seeing a lot of is denim on denim because
Mm.
there's this unwritten rule that you don't wear denim with denim. And that's been thrown out the window now. We're seeing a lot of people, yes, a lot of people wearing denim shirts with denim jeans or denim jackets with denim jeans. And then as far as the combinations with stripes, I saw a really cute one, which was a denim blazer, which is kind of conservative looking, but sort of, what's the word I'm thinking, sort of Southwestern US looking over a striped shirt. So the striped shirt was a little bit more, youthful or preppy. And then the blazer was a little more conservative, but it was denim. So that was really cute. And she wore it with denim. And white denim, especially white denim pants, are extremely popular right now, as are denim midi skirts.
Oh,
We're seeing
yes.
denim midi skirts everywhere, which is a godsend for a lot of us who don't want to show a lot of our leg.
Yes.
But that's another way to go. You can wear a denim midi skirt with some silver ballet flats and be
Yeah.
very fashion forward.
Yes. I love this. I love the denim idea. And I think it's a great tie-in even for color, like the color of like a bright fuchsia shirt with a denim jacket, and then maybe a long midi skirt or something. I don't know
Yes.
if you could tie in, depends on your body, if you could tie in the metallic shoes with that
Mhm.
scenario, but the idea of, muting the color just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
With a jacket or however you kind of pull that together, I think you can, for those people that are like, okay, I feel like a walking, flower if I put on this top, like a fuchsia
Yeah.
top or something,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
great way to sort of mute stuff.
Right. And there's what I like about denim is that because it is a heavier textile and was originally designed, the jeans were originally designed for workers, men who did work in the
Right.
mines or construction, and so it has a more young masculine quality. But if you combine a denim jacket, for example, with a feminine blouse or even over a floral dress, what you're doing is creating a contrast of the male and the female. And my personal feeling about it is that it makes the feminine look even more feminine in contrast. And
Yes.
so I love the idea of wearing a denim jacket over a pretty color or a floral or a dress
Yes.
or a skirt.
Yes. I'm with you. I totally love that look as well. So, go ahead.
Now, just one thing about proportions. If you're going to wear a midi skirt, wear a shorter denim jacket
Right.
because the proportional thing is that you don't want a heavy top and a heavy bottom.
Right.
So keep the top shorter and the skirt longer.
Wonderful. That's great advice. Okay, so then let's talk about peekaboo shirts, sheer tops, macrame dresses. So the whole, you were just talking about tops underneath the denim. So I want to now shift into the more peekaboo type tops that are showing up. So they're almost peasant tops, but not really. Like it's a
Yeah.
little bit peasanty, I think. So yeah,
Yes.
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So if you have any bit of romance or gypsy quality to you and or boho and you feel that you've been forgotten for a while, you're back in style
Yay.
because we're seeing a lot of those those fuller sleeve tops with the embroidery or macrame or puffier sleeves, pretty colors, and see-through. We're going to talk about see-through in a minute, but yeah, there's lots of them everywhere, lots of colors, and they're having a little bit more interest than just the flat textile of a colored blouse or colored top. They have some texture to them. They have some fullness to them. I thought that the full sleeved blouses had done their thing, a year or two ago, but no, I was wrong because they are really back. The poetry sleeve and even some with gathered, sort of elastic with full sleeve sewing. I keep thinking of that Seinfeld episode where Jerry wore that puffy sleeve shirt.
Oh, I
That's
didn't
very
see.
much in fashion
Oh,
right
wow.
but it's a feminine look. It's pretty, and I think you're going to find it both in whites, but also in a lot of colors with some interesting detail along the neckline, especially in the arms or the wrists. So keep that in mind. If you're going to wear something like that, I personally think you should wear it tucked in
Yeah.
to a skirt or jeans because it is a voluminous look and you don't want over volume on top,
Right.
especially if you have a wider waistline. Tuck it in, define your waist. Don't worry about the size of it because the volume of the top is going to draw the attention, especially if it's in a pretty color.
Right. No, I think that's good advice because I think many people want to wear that. They want to wear the bigger poofy and they want to have the bigger sleeves, but it's not always very flattering. Like it can really make you look bigger, right? Many of us don't want to look bigger. So I think that's a great way to look at it. And even, I mean, I'd like to make a plug for having things taken in. I've done that so many times where I love a shirt, but I look huge. So you take it in yourself or pay to have it taken in. That can make a big difference. So let's head into the next area of trend, which I think is super fun, is trench coats. Trench coats. I was like, trench coats? Like, I was a bit shocked by this one.
They are everywhere now. They used to be a staple, or either, we thought of them maybe as Columbo, looking kind of sloppy, or very sharp, looking very British. But now they're everywhere, and they're not just the double-breasted ones with, the long trench coats, although those are very, very much in fashion right now. But we're seeing some in really soft, sort of, thicker rayon textiles. I know that a company called Mango has some
Yes.
beautiful ones, really inexpensive. Here's my personal story because I have to share it. I love it so much. I've been looking for a trench coat for a couple of years now, and I've looked at, they're kind of heavy. I'm little and
Right.
they drag me down. And I bought one at Nordstrom. It was okay, but I stepped out the door, walked down the street, and there was H&M. H&M in the United States is it's a lower end discount place. It's probably all made in China. It's mostly polyester, but I found the most perfect, beautiful, gorgeous trench coat for $65. So you can find them in
Yeah.
colors. Um, And they're wearing them a little bit longer this year, a little longer proportionally than I would like, but it's a look. You can always have them taken up a little bit next year if it doesn't work for you. They bring a real kind of panache to a look. They make you look very sophisticated. They are a way to complete an outfit. I really think jackets and tops can complete an outfit beautifully. They create a column, especially if you are large on the top. They make you look thinner, which is a nice look. They can make you look taller as long as you're not overly heavy on the bottom. If you're wearing a long trench coat and really wide leg pants and big heeled shoes, which was popular recently, it's going to bring your attention down. So you don't want to do that so much right now. You could wear wide leg pants, but not really wide leg pants. And flats would be good with them, or a shorter heel. So I love trench coats, but they're also showing them now in this shorter version, which is about to hip length. So if you don't want to wear the long one, there's lots of the shorter versions. They're very versatile. They're a 3-season piece, and they are in colors, all kinds of colors. So maybe you'll show some of those in the visuals. So I love trench coats. And if you have a very large bust or you're large in the shoulders, I would avoid the double-breasted ones because
Right.
that will make you look bigger. The ones that are belted will give you a waistline, and they should come just about to hip level. Anything lower than that, they could be mid-thigh level, but be careful with your proportions with that because that might truncate your lower leg if your legs are short.
Great. I
That's well
love the
said.
proportion advice. That's fabulous because that's what we're all tuning in like, oh, can I wear this or not?
Yeah.
And I just want to throw in before we hit the last area, which is jewelry. I live in Ecuador and we get rain, like serious rain. And so I was thinking about having a cropped trench coat. And I thought, in this environment, probably not cropped because it's like you just get soaked. And so I have like a
Yeah.
trench coat and an umbrella, and I still will
Yeah.
get like everything, below my knees gets soaked. So just saying, obviously there's practicality too. But all right, so let's talk about jewelry. So this is our last area. So we're replacing thin hoop earrings with chunky hoops, bold cuffs, and cascade drop earrings. Wow, I'm still back in the 80s. Like,
Uh-huh.
that's amazing. Okay, let's talk about this and how you wear this.
Well, if you, I want to say one thing about the delicate jewelry. If you have sort of a delicate look about you and delicate skin, and you love the layers of delicate necklaces, that's still in style. That's never going to go out of style. That works for you.
Right.
But what you're seeing a lot now is because if you're wearing a trench coat or you're wearing a bright color, you don't want too much contrast. And if you don't want to wear silver or gold shoes or a gold belt, something with a little bit more forward in your earrings will work just fine. And so the big long hoops, those work for some women who are tall or who are dramatic or who want to, look very bohemian. But if you want to look a little bit more pulled together and a little more playful, go for the chunkier, rounder shapes in the earrings, even in rings or in bracelet cuffs. It's got a more, in terms of style essences, it has more a youthful feel to it and a little bit more substance to it. So that's what we're seeing in the earrings now. And then the cascading ones, which I love. And it's not so much chandelier, which is usually a layer with all kinds of other layers in it. It's like one drop. It may be drops of pearls. It may be drops of just gold discs or faux gemstones, but they're drops and they're long. And they bring the attention to the collarbone. The collarbone is a very attractive part of the body for every woman. If you have problems with double chin or you don't want to show that, then keep your attention further up, make the earrings smaller, for your face, up like that. And if your hair is very short, then you can wear a little bit bigger hoops. Um, I mean, again, it really has to do with face shape. The shape of the earrings that we wear really has to do with face shape, and that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But again, if it feels like, yeah, it's bringing attention to a good part of my face, and I like that, so that works. But I love the idea of the cascading earrings because when you move, I keep getting this, sorry. When you move, they move, it creates motion. Motion is energy, and it matches the brighter colors that we're seeing. Don't be afraid of wearing um, a, a more forward earring with a colorful top. That won't be too much of a contrast as long as the earring isn't a lot of different colors.
Right.
And especially if it's gold or silver or pearls, that will be just fine if you're wearing it with, a different color, a bright color blouse.
I love it. That's great. That's great advice. I love those big earrings, but I think you have to be careful on the sizing, right? Like in your face. And so I think it's just, how do I wear this? So
Yeah.
no, I love that. That's great. And I love all the gold, right? So let's close out. And do you have any final words of advice to women pulling all this together? I mean, I've seen the outfit, right? A bright shirt, our denim, we've got our gold shoes, our gold bag, or silver, or whatever, the Metallica idea, maybe a trench coat tossed in. So just final word of advice for the season.
Right. Oh, there's one trend that I didn't mention too much, but and that has to do with sheer
Oh, sheer.
tops.
Yes.
Yeah, and that ties in with tying it all together. What you feel comfortable in and what you feel comfortable showing and what makes you feel beautiful and comfortable. And those two words, beautiful and comfortable, should be the defining um, aspects of which of these trends that you choose. I mean, they're showing a lot of really see-through, diaphanous, chiffon tops.
Right.
But maybe you just want to wear a pretty blouse that has see-through sleeves. We're seeing a lot of eyelet, which is see-through, um, dotted Swiss, which was considered passe. Those are very youthful and pretty and fresh feeling things. So if it makes you feel fresh, if it makes you feel attractive, if it makes you feel comfortable, but most of all, if it makes you feel authentic,
Right.
like you're not putting on a persona, then that will be the determining factor of whether any of these trends will work for you.
Right.
And you can dip your toe into it. Maybe just buy a gold belt, or maybe just buy a chunky earring, or
Right.
maybe if you just don't want to buy anything, take your old white blouse that's looking kind of sad and dye it.
Yeah.
I have dyed a lot of t-shirts to match what works well for my color palette. So that's pretty much my final thoughts. Make the proportions look good for your body and be authentic to you.
I love it. Thank you. I think that's great. I'm all for that. I'm all for authenticity and, making your wardrobe, just carving your wardrobe out so that it's perfect for you specifically.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for joining me on the Beauty Shaman. I always love your advice. I always learn so much, and I'm always grateful to talk to you. And I know everyone else is too. So, ladies, if you want to find Andrea, she is at shoppingfortherealyou.com. You can go there, see her incredible blog. She's got a wonderful blog, and lots of great examples of how to dress. You can get all your questions answered. You can even work with her personally. She's a stylist. She's great. So anyway, thank you so much, Andrea. And thank you so much, ladies, for watching The Beauty Shaman.